All right, so this is awesome. My kids have a friend over. They're in the kitchen. They're super loud. So I've decided to do this on my bed. And unfortunately, it's going to be upside down for you guys, but I'll try and do it backwards. We'll see. Okay, so getting this open, the new one, is pretty easy. They have a screw that they put right here. Screwdriver goes in, unscrews it, and then you can separate the two. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Supposedly though, with this thing, this has glue in it, and it's a lot harder to open up. I don't know how hard, so I've brought some tools, and we are just going to play around with it a little bit. Take some pliers, see if I can just force it open without breaking anything. I don't know yet. And so the way this works, I was playing with the new one last night, but basically on this there's a spring here, and I'm going to see if I can look around. There's a spring here, and on that spring it has a little piece right on the end. See that? On this case, there's an indentation where that spring will sit. Okay? And when this cap goes on here, right? When that cap goes on there, you can actually rotate the cap and it captures the spring in there. So the way that works is you got this cap. Let me see what you're seeing. There's 3 kind of nipples sticking out, and on the underside, not this side of the key, but on the underside of the key, it also has 3 indentations for that to fit into. So what you would do is you would get it all lined up, okay? You get it all lined up, and then you have to turn it counterclockwise 1 time. And then you can lock it into place. And now, if I put this cover back on, when I push the button, it releases. If I did not turn it, if I didn't rotate the counterclockwise, if I didn't do that, and then I put the cover back on and push the button, nothing's gonna happen because there's no spring tension to it, okay? See? So you have to rotate this thing. If you were looking at it from there, let me see what you're seeing. If you're looking at it from there, you would rotate counterclockwise 1 time and then seat it, okay? And then that's when you can put this cover back on, okay? And then when I push it, boom. All right? So that's how that works. Now, like I said, I think I want to remove this key from here. The only problem when doing that is there's a tiny little pin. Let's see if I can get that to show up. See that? There's a tiny little pin right here that I'm gonna have to hammer out. So I could do that. I don't really want to, but I could do it. In the meantime, let me just see, just for fun, I want to see if this old one fits in the new one exactly the same. All right, so technically, this is already in here. Since I have this computer board out, this chip out, I'm probably going to try and replace it. Well, shoot, no, I'm not, because I don't know what that battery is. VL2330. So that kind of sucks, because I thought that I could just replace it. I just assumed it was like every other car battery or a key fob battery out there. Apparently I was wrong. Oh shoot, yep. You know what, this is not going to work because right now I can already tell you it won't, because there's a button. There's a button on here. These two are missing that button. I would literally have to find out what those are and solder new ones on. Crap. That sucks. You know what? That figures. Couldn't be easy, right? All right. Apparently I didn't do the spring good enough either. So let's wind it once more. See if that created enough tension. So now on this, using the old mechanism with the new housing, I've had to wind it twice versus just the once. And it's still doing zero things. I'm gonna have to change that key out. So I guess let me go do that first and then figure out what I'm gonna do about this remote. So this is kind of crazy. If I have this key here, this is the old one, and I push right here with this teeny tiny screwdriver, then the pin starts coming out. See that? So that would be, I mean, that's like nothing. Ah, there we go. Okay. So that pin is out. And there's our key. Go ahead and clean that up while I'm doing all this. All right, so that pin is out. Here's the key. Now it's time to work on the new one to try and get that pin out, because that pin does not come out as easily. So I'll be back. Bye. All right, so here's my dirty workshop. I literally cannot find a nail that's small enough for this, so I'm going to try a tack. And I have it clamped down here, so I'm going to try this. I'm hoping it works. If it does, I'll show you, and I'll be back. Bye. Okay, I'm back. The tack did not work, but I did find a drill bit that was small enough to go in there, and it is finally taking that pin out. Thank goodness, because that sucked. So I'm going to work on this, get this pin out, and then replace it into the new one. All right, bye. Like you saw, I used a drill bit and started getting it out, but it wasn't, the drill bit was still too big, so it couldn't push it out all the way. Then the drill bit got stuck inside here. Then it got stuck in there. So then I got worried, thinking that I couldn't get it out. I clamped it with a vise and used a hammer to pry it off, and then it popped off. So that was good. But it was still stuck in there, so I had to take that original tack, that thumbtack, stuck it in there, got it out far enough, and when I did that, then it just completely fell out, and I lost it for a minute, which scared me, because my garage is a complete disaster, and that would have sucked if I didn't find it, because I don't know if this other pin would have worked, wherever that may be amongst all this. All right, I'm trying to get this thing out now. What's happening? Aha, that was it. Okay. There we go. All right, let's see about this. God, freaking kidding me. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think that this is just a little thicker than this aftermarket one. Just barely. I mean, maybe a millimeter. just a little too big. So what I'm gonna do, let me file this down a little bit. Let me file this down and see if that will fix it. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, back. Filed this down a little bit, okay? And it is sliding in, but it's not going down all the way. Okay, I'm back. I think I'm good now. I really do. I think I'm good with the alignment. And just so you know, like shaving these keys or filing the key, I mean, it's super simple. Like it's not difficult at all to shave this down. Sweet, and it doesn't wiggle. I mean, I've marred this new one up a decent amount, and that sucks, but that's still awesome. All right, so okay, obviously buttons are messed up, right? I think that I can order a new remote and program it using like the key and stuff, and there's like a certain thing you have to do where you put the key in and then do some fancy stuff, and then somehow the remote can pair with the car. Okay, that's number one. But the problem is this transponder, and if I get another key, I think I can get it to sync with the car. Here's my thought process, that on this key, which works with the car, it has a transponder that the car has to detect, right? And this key though, because the buttons are all jacked up, I can't use it, right? There are aftermarket car alarms, push start car alarms. I've installed one actually on a vehicle, but that vehicle had a transponder in the key. And so what I had to do was I had to take a factory key and put it inside of the ignition, like the ring detector, the part that detects the key. I had to put the key inside of there so that the car was always detecting the key. And then when I did the push start, then it thought that I had a factory key in the ignition the whole time. So again, I'm hoping that kind of makes sense. If I just take the internals of this, put it around the ignition part that's detecting the key in that car, then maybe I don't need to go to a dealership and get a whole new programmed key thing. So I don't know, that's my idea. But for right now, I'm just swapping the case so it doesn't look like white trash, even though we are white trash. And swapping the case. Hey, quick little update. So I had taken this, I wound it twice, right? And made it stronger when it popped out. But what was happening is this button right here was actually like sitting really low, almost like it was halfway pressed. So if I shook this at all, okay, it would open. The key would just fly open. So I took it apart, tried seeing if I could somehow make an adjustment to the way the spring was working. And when I only did it one turn, then, you know, it was kind of light and it wasn't great. So what I did was I grabbed the old remote, took the spring out of there. The spring out of there is like, let's just say spring out of there is this long. The aftermarket spring is like this long, okay? So it's like a fairly decent size difference or length. Put that in here, wound it twice, and button is ejecting as like it should be. It's standing proud like it should, coming out super quick like I want it to, and we are good to go now. But I just wanted to give you an update. If you do swap this out, you should probably use the the original spring in this housing. Okay, bye.